But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the Shade tokenomics. You guys also are going to do an airdrop, and a lot of people, which I find so funny, are like, oh my god, I only get 0.6 or whatever Shade coins, and oh my god, haha, that's nothing. And it doesn't even have a dollar value. It hasn't even launched. So what can you tell about the tokenomics? Is it capped? Is there a limited supply? Is it going to be on its own chain also from an architectural standpoint, that it will accrue also transactional value? Maybe you can share a little bit about the utility and some facts around the supply and everything.
100%. So first off, I'll talk about Shade. So there's 10 million Shade at launch. Approximately 14.5% is being airdropped to multiple chains, Secret Network, Luna, and Atom. There was a super long staking period between November 7th and December 13th for people to qualify for the Shade airdrop. Really important to note that Silk, the stablecoin we were talking about earlier, the more Silk that is demanded and the more that supply grows, the more Shade that is burned to support that. So just like with the UST and Luna, more UST means more Luna burn, right? So in that sense, all goes well. Shade is a deflationary token in its own right. Obviously, like it'll have its fluctuations. So it's targeting a low supply airdrop. Or not a low supply airdrop, just low supply token in general. So there's a lot of people that looked at the claim and they're like, oh, like this isn't much. Like, why isn't this like 10,000 or 100,000? And it's kind of like the weird part about crypto is like all that really matters is your percentage of protocol ownership. So if you have 1 million of 10 trillion, you know, whatever, like that's no different than owning like 1 of 10 million. I know I did that conversion wrong, but you get the point. So it's definitely an intentional branding because we want Shade to be a premium asset over the long haul. Like that's kind of how we want it branded. That's where we are hoping that the price will end up landing and the market psychology behind that. And that's a distinct decision to have Shade framed that way versus a super, super big supply, right? So these are kind of like, I think we're making a short-term trade-off for a long-term advantage with for Shade. The rest of the tokenomics will be released at the date of the airdrop, so that there's no differentiation between the actual instantiation of the like contract itself that launches all of it versus the blog post. So we want to make sure that there's no room for any sort of variability. It's just like 100% locked in, no changes. So that'll be coming out. The airdrop itself, everyone's like, is he gonna give it? Is he gonna give it? The airdrop launch is contingent upon the developers taking their hands off the keyboards, looking us in the eyes and saying, we are good to go. We're not going to be a team that has business people that say, we're going to pick this date out in the future and hope the devs can execute by then. That's not how the Shade Protocol core team operates. We believe in making sure we build safe products, that we do it correctly, that we do it with the right reviews. The target, broadly speaking, is mid-January to the beginning of February. Every day that ticks by, we get closer and closer. So I'll talk about the two things that still need to be solved. The first thing that's being solved right now is, because it's a multi-chain airdrop, you essentially need a proof attached to a Kepler wallet that you say who you are. So we have that figured out for Atom and Secret. And the final component is this kind of permit proof is what we call it from the Terra side of things. So that's being solved as we speak. The second component is the final touches on the UI workflow as people come through and claim components of the airdrop. So those are really the two things outstanding. We've had like 1 million people look at the contract at this point in terms of like review from some reputable entities. So it's we're getting there, and I honestly think we'll hit that broad timeline, but we're not gonna give the specific date till the devs are comfortable, and you can know that the full tokenomics will 100% be released at airdrop. So
yeah.